Okay, so let's start the concluding lecture of this particular chapter that is related to rotation of the body. And, in this unit, we have covered numbers of new physical parameters. So we have the concept of rotational motion, where one specific body rotates around the axis that is known as the axis of rotation, and we have now we have completed the details of moment of inertia, height, and different parameters related to that. One thing we should calculate also is the work done during the rotation of a rigid body. We can calculate. So during rotation, we have calculated angular momentum, angular velocity, and also that energy that is known as the rotational kinetic energy. But the work done, I think we are missing in this particular concluding lecture. We will cover some remaining topics of this chapter, and one of this, that is the work done during the rotation of a rigid body. So this is that rigid body, and this is the axis, and this body is rotating around this axis. Obviously, there will the torque will act, and let's say this rotation is due to one force which is acting somewhere here in this direction, that is the direction of force. And we are applying this, and this body is trying to rotate along this axis. So we have to calculate the work done during this rotation. And from the simple definition of work, we know this is just the multiplication of force and the displacement. So dot product of force and displacement. So we have to calculate that force in the direction of rotation, and also that displacement. So this is that point about which it is rotating. So let's say this is okay. So this is that initial position of that body, and we are applying this force, and due to applying this force and resulting torque, this body is rotating around this axis. So after some instant of time, let's say this is just that circle part, and after some time, this point M, it is positioned somewhere here, and that displacement, this is that angular displacement, and we are representing this displacement as d theta. So now what we have to calculate? We have to calculate this displacement, that is the rotational linear displacement in terms of this d theta and r. So the rotational displacement is that is known as angular displacement. This is d theta, and this distance is r. So the linear displacement can be calculated as ds is equal to r d theta, and we have used several times this relation ds is equal to r d theta. So we will use this as a displacement. So let's say this is that theta, angular position, and after applying this force, this is a small angular displacement created by this torque, and now let us make let's say this angle is phi. And obviously this angle will be phi. If this angle is phi, then this angle will be phi, and we have to calculate that force in the direction of this linear displacement. So the direction of that force along this will be perpendicular to this. So one can write this is equal to pi by 2 minus phi Okay, so this is phi, this is pi by 2 minus phi, and the component of this f along this, that will be f cos pi by 2 minus phi. Take it. Okay, and why we are doing so? Because we have to calculate the work, and work is equivalent to force multiplied by displacement, and we are using that linear relation. So first we have calculated this linear displacement, ds is equivalent to r d theta, and in the same direction we have to calculate the force. And here when we are trying to rotate this body, so initially the direction of force is this. So torque is created due to this force, and we have to take that force along that linear displacement. So we are taking its a component along this. So in order to take that component along this in the tangential direction, we are creating some angular notation here. So this is that initial position theta, and we are taking this as phi. So this will be phi, and this is pi by 2 minus phi. So the component of this f along this, that will be f cos pi by 2 minus phi. Okay, now we can calculate the force. So the force, work is equal to force multiplied by displacement. So this force is equivalent to f cos pi by 2 minus phi, and the displacement is this r d theta. Okay, and this is equal to f sin phi multiplied by r d theta. This is f r sin phi multiplied by d theta. Okay, so this is force, and what is this r sin phi? This r sin phi is this. This is actually, this is r sin phi. And this is the direction of force, this is force, and this is perpendicular distance from the axis. So when one can represent this as torque tau. From the definition of torque, what we say, this is actually the multiplication of force and the perpendicular distance, and this perpendicular distance is r sin phi, and this is the force from this axis. So this can be written as equivalent to tau multiplied by d theta. So this d omega, if you take as a small work, d omega, and this d omega is equivalent to r d theta. So if theta is given from one particular value to another value, we can just integrate this, and we can get that value of omega. W. W is equivalent to integration of this tau d theta. Okay, so the calculation is simple. Just we have to calculate that linear displacement and the force component along that. Okay, we can calculate power also. So power P, it is defined as dW by dt. Simple. All physical parameters related to any type of motion, rotational or translation. So we have already completed in translation motion. So we can have similar parameters in rotational motion also. So this is the work done. So d omega is equal to this tau multiplied by d theta, and one can compare this with work in the linear translation motion, that is force multiplied by displacement. Here we replace that force in torque, and the linear displacement is with angular displacement. So this dW is equal to tau multiplied by d theta. So the simple formula, and it is easy to memorize. So P is equal to dW by dt. So P, it is equal to dW is r d theta by dt, and d theta by dt is nothing but omega. So this is tau multiplied by this angular velocity. Okay, so in translation motion, what we have this as F force and omega as V. So in translation motion, that power was calculated as P is equivalent to force multiplied by linear velocity, and the rotational motion, this power is equal to tau multiplied by omega. Omega is the angular velocity. Okay. Now so body in equilibrium. So one body that is in equilibrium means that is in static form, in balanced form, and there is no no changing position. That position may be that translation position or angular position. So this equilibrium, the balanced form, it is divided into two parts. One is translational equilibrium, when there is no translation motion. No translation motion. Body is not translating from one point to another point. And second is rotational equilibrium, means no rotational motion. Means the body is now not translating, transferring from one part of position to another part, and there is no rotational motion also, means it is not rotating. But the force is applied. Here the torque is applied and the force is applied in different part. But that body is in equilibrium. Okay, what it means? First condition, if there is no force, there is no torque. External and internal, that body is in equilibrium. Second, force is applying, but the total sum of force, it is balanced, it is zero. For example, if this is that body, one force is applying along this, and the sum, another force is applying along this, third external force is applying along this, and fourth applying force is applying this. Forces are identical, equal. Means that body will be in a static form. There is no change in its linear position. That body is in equilibrium. And also F, this F, this F, this F. Or there is another body, this. One force is applying along this, another force is applying along this, and third force is applying along this. And the force, the resultant force, that is if equal to zero, then that body will be known as translation equilibrium. Means one can say the summation of Fi external, F external on any body, if this is equivalent to zero, there are numbers of force applying on that body, but the summation of that, or the vector sum of all external force, this is equal to zero, then that body is known as in translation equilibrium. There is no translation motion. Why? Because all forces are balanced, cancelled each other, one can say. Similarly, in a rotational motion, if this is that body and this is that axis, one torque is applying along this direction and trying to rotate in anti-clockwise direction, and second torque is applying along this, and it is trying to rotate that body in clockwise direction. So this is trying to rotate in anti-clockwise direction, this is trying to rotate in clockwise direction. So if this total torque on that particular body, an external torque on that particular body is zero, or the vector sum of all these torques are balanced, this is zero, then that is known as rotational equilibrium, and there will be no rotation of that body. So one can write this is summation of tau external, this is zero, then this is in rotational equilibrium. So let us take one example of that later on a wall. So let us have, this is that wall, and this is the later position like this. And this is our, this is that daily life experience. If this angle and it is not properly positioned, then it can slip. And if we want to avoid this slip, then proper force and that frictional force, it must be balanced. Means this must be in rotational equilibrium. And how it is possible? So this is that wall. If this is positioned like this, so one reaction force on that wall, that is equal to N1 toward this direction, and it is balanced by that frictional force. If it will try to move like this, so the frictional force along this direction, it should be equal to, it must be greater than equal to F. If this F is equal to F1, that is equivalent to N, this reaction, then this will avoid that rotational slipping of that ledger. And that mass, there is the mass of this ledger, this will act like this along the center of earth, that is mg. This will also act, and this is balanced by the reaction force on the ground. Okay, so the net torque of this system, that must be equal to 0. So we have to calculate the torque due to this N2 as well as this N1. N1 applying along this direction, and this is applying along this direction. So we have to calculate torque, and this must be equal. So let us have some torque due to this N1. This distance is, let's say this is O, A, B, C. So torque due to, just I am calculating roughly, not doing that. So torque due to N1, that is equal to, the force is N1, which is equivalent to F1, and the distance is equivalent to OC. So this is equivalent to N1 multiplied by OC, the perpendicular force multiplied by perpendicular distance, and this OC is equivalent to AB, or just one can take this, and N1 is equivalent to F multiplied by OC. If this angle, this is taken as equivalent to theta, and the length of this letter, this is taken as L. So this is equal to, AB is equal to, if this is L, this is theta, then what about this AB?
AB sin theta.
L sin theta. AB is equal to L sin theta. So this is equal to F multiplied by AB, and this is F L sin theta. Okay, total length is L, this angle is theta. So in order to calculate the torque due to this N1, we must have the value of this force N1, which is actually equal to this this frictional force. This is balanced equilibrium condition. So this is equal to F. So N1 is equal to F, and this AB is equal to this, which can be written as equal to L multiplied by, this is L sin theta. Okay, now what's about this? This is that force, this is mg. You have to take this distance, and now the length is not equal to L, this is just the half. Okay, so this length from here to here, this is now L by 2, and you have to take this this angle is theta. So what will be this? C and let's say D. What will be this? CD? L by 2 cos theta. So the torque due to mg, that is equal to force is mg, and this distance is CD multiplied by CD, and this is equal to mg and L by 2 cos theta. So in equilibrium condition, this must be balanced. So in equilibrium, in rotational equilibrium, that F multiplied by L sine theta must be equal to mg L by cos theta. This is the condition. So one can calculate that frictional force, initial frictional force, this is that frictional force. And in terms of tan theta, tan cos theta, one can. Is it clear? So this is the condition for rotational equilibrium. And if we have a rod like this and we are applying force, identical force in these 2 points, then this may be in rotational equilibrium. This may be in rotational equilibrium, but this will move with a constant velocity, so there is no translation equilibrium. It is in a rotational equilibrium, but this is this obviously this will be in a linear motion. Its a linear position will be changed, so this will not be in translation equilibrium. And if we apply one force along this and another force in this direction, then this will be in rotational equilibrium. This is in translation equilibrium. This is in translation equilibrium, but this will rotate. So this will not be in equilibrium, that rotational equilibrium. If this distance is, let's say, let us have one hinge somewhere here, a support. At a position of this D1 and this is D2. So this is that hinge, a support, and in this support one force, this is applying, let's say this is F1 and this is F2. Forces are not identical. This is F1, this is F2, and this is that supporting force. Then one reaction will work in the upward direction. Obviously, if there is a support, then obviously there will be one reaction force also, and that reaction force R, this is equal to F1 plus F2. And another concept which is used here, that is the theory of moment, concept of moment. So according to principle of moment, so according to principle of moment, for rotational equilibrium, this F1 multiplied by D1, it is equal to F2 multiplied by D2. So this is one important condition in order to maintain that rotational equilibrium. This is known as principle of moment. So this relation will help you to solve some numerical problem, and in order to maintain that rotational equilibrium, this is known as that principle of moment, where this F1 and F2, these are the force applying here, and this is that hinge, and this supporting R is equivalent to F1 plus F2, one equation. This is the second equation. One can calculate that force and positions by applying different conditions. Now let us another term, that is coupled. if we have this one rod and one force is applying along this, that is F, and another force is applying at a particular distance, that is F. Remember this, these two forces are identical. So the action of force is at a different points, but the force are identical. So when two identical force are applied in any body at a two different point of any body, then these forces are known as the coupled force, and this will rotate. And the good example is that steering or the handle of your bicycle. If you use that, if you want to rotate that, then one force that will apply along this and another force that will apply along this, and then there is one center axis. Okay, so these two forces, these are the coupled forces, and that physical parameter which is equal to that, again it is represented by tau, it is equivalent to r multiplied by f. R is that perpendicular distance, and the force, that is one of the force, because this is identical. So this tau is equivalent to r multiplied by f. This is another physical parameter comparable to that torque. So in case of torque, we have one axis, one single force, and that single force F and the distance, perpendicular distance from that axis, this is that represented by r. Here this r is the perpendicular distance between these two forces, parallel forces, and one of the force, and this dimension as well as unit, that will be same. And the example is, best example is that steering. When we use that steering to just cover that rotational path, then we use that force. One force is along this and another force is along this. And calculation is simple. If this is that axis, and let's say O, and in vector form, this force is, let's say this is R1, and this is another vector, this is R2, then that is equal to, so the net torque in this system, one torque is trying to rotate this and another torque is along this, so that is tau naught, because this is O, so around this is equal to. Okay, so now let us calculate that net torque on this system around this point O. So this tau naught is equal to this in form of vector, this is R1, so this is R1 cross, and this is positive y direction, this is negative y direction, so let us take this is minus F plus, second is this position vector is R2, and this is F cross F. Just we are taking in vector form. So this is position vector R1, this is position vector R2. So this is R1 cross minus Fy, because this is in minus y direction, and this is plus y. So this is R1 cross, R1 minus R2. This is R2 minus R2. So this is cross F. Let's say if this is equal to R and the direction is this, so this is equal to R cross F. Where R, it is equivalent to R2 minus R1 from triangle rule. Maybe you several times this triangle rule for the vector. So this, and this is just the simple definition of torque we have used earlier. Okay, so this tau naught is equivalent to R cross F. This is known as couple. Couple means two identical force applying into at a particular distance on a body. So this is one force, this is another force, and this will try to rotate at a particular, around that particular axis. Then this is coupled. Okay, this is a simple derivation. And now let us use the, I think I have covered everything. And last, that is conservation of angular momentum. I think we have mentioned. So conservation of angular momentum. So we have defined this angular momentum in different forms. That this angular momentum R is equivalent to R cross P, and then this is dl by dt. It is equivalent to R cross dp by dt, and this dp by dt is nothing but the force from the Newton's second law of motion. So this tau, we have derived this is equivalent to dl by dt in vector form. So this is that the relation between torque with angular momentum. We have this. And second time, we have also derived this torque tau. It is equivalent to I omega, if you remember, in terms of this moment of inertia. Okay, because that external torque was taken as 0, and we have derived this tau is equivalent to I omega also. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Okay, so if L is equivalent to I omega. L is equal to I omega, not torque. L is equivalent to I omega. We have derived this. So this if external torque, total external torque means in equilibrium, it is equal to 0. Because we have proved this is as equal to this tau external is equal to dl by dt. So if this external torque is equal to 0, then dl by dt, this is equal to 0. And this external torque tau, you can say total torque also. The total torque of that system is 0, not external. If the total torque of the system is 0, tau is equal to 0, then dl by dt is equal to 0. And what it means? This implies L is either 0 or constant. From the definition and derivation, this dl by dt is equal to 0 means L is equal to constant. L is equal to constant means I omega. This also implies I omega, that is constant. Or one can write this I omega, I1 omega 2, it is equal to I2 omega 2. This is law of conservation of angular momentum. So the concept is simple. In translation motion, what we take that force, if the total force of that system that is equal to 0, then dp by dt is equal to 0, and p is constant, linear momentum is constant. And here is total torque tau, it is equivalent to dl by dt. If the torque is 0, the total torque is 0, then this dl by dt is equal to 0. And from the definition of this derivative, if this is 0 means either that L will be 0 or L is constant. So this L is constant means angular momentum is constant, and since L is equivalent to I omega, so I omega is equal to constant, and one can also write this I1 omega 1 is equivalent to I2 omega 2. This is conservation of angular momentum. And some examples or some applications of this particular relation, that I1 omega 1, it is used in rotational systems. So this, let us use this I1 omega 1 is equal to I2 omega 2 in our daily life examples. So if this is that rotational disk, this one person is standing somewhere here with extended arm and with that body of mass m, and this it is rotating. व्यक्ति है जो डंबल लेकर के खड़ा है ना, और उसके बाद फिर ये रोटेशनल मोशन पे डंबल लेकर के रोटेट हो रहा है. सो इट इज रोटेटिंग विथ constant angular momentum, that omega 1, and this moment of inertia that will be equal to that I1, and R is more, so I1 is more. So here this I1 is more and it is rotating. Suddenly इसने क्या किया कि just हाथ को नीचे इस तरह से रख दिया. Now when this mass is somewhere here, means this is that system, and this mass is somewhere here now, somewhere here. Then since that linear distance from this axis, it is reduced, and we know that I is equal to mr square. If r is reduced, obviously I will reduce, and in order to balance this this relation, omega will be more. Means this will its angular velocity will be fast and it will move faster. Okay, तो अगर वो हाथ को इस प्रकार से रख करके अगर खड़ा हुआ है किसी सर्कुलर डिस्क पे, रोटेशन हो रहा है ना, एक बार कांस्टेंट वेलोसिटी से, जैसे वो हाथ को अगर तो नीचे कर दें तो उनका एंगुलर वेलोसिटी जो है फास्ट हो जाएगा, फास्ट रोटेट करेगा. या कुछ एशियन गेम्स वगैरह में जो दिखाते हैं ना कि एक फ्लिप रहता है, उसमें जंप करके वाटर में जब जंप करते हैं तो उससे पहले वो कितना रोटेशन ले, है ना, उसके ऊपर उसका मार्क्स होता है, पॉइंट होता है. तो जैसे उसने ये करके जंप किया, ऊपर जाने के बाद फिर जब तक उसका बॉडी जो है वो स्ट्रेच्ड है, तब तक वो स्ट्रेच फॉर्म में है, वो रोटेशन नहीं हो रहा, लेकिन तुरंत उसको अपने बॉडी को जो है वो सिकोड़ देता है एकदम बिल्कुल बेंड फॉर्म में, तो वो ज़्यादा रोटेट कर पाता है. क्यों? क्योंकि उसने अपनी बॉडी के जो मास का जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है, उस मास का डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन को इस प्रकार से सेंटर्ड कर लिया कि मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया की वैल्यू कम हो गया. जैसे आई की वैल्यू कम हुआ, इन ऑर्डर टू मेंटेन दिस कंजर्वेशन ऑफ एंगुलर मोमेंटम, ओमेगा की वैल्यू ज़्यादा हो जाएगी. तो सम गुड एग्जांपल्स आर गिवन इन योर बुक एंड यू कैन गो थ्रू दैट, एंड न्यूमेरिकल प्रॉब्लम रिलेटेड टू दिस particular condition, that I1 omega 1 is equal to I2 omega 2 you can perform. Okay, I think I have covered almost all terms and in this particular chapter, and now your work is start. You have to solve several numerical problems related to this. Okay, thank you.